These are the eyes of a psychopath.
Spooktober! Spooktober, Surge!
I'm here.
Spooktober!
Oh, dang.
How are you, brother?
Oh, what up, man? Good to see you.
Yeah, Remy was crying because he thought you weren't going to make it.
Oh, for God's
Yeah,
sake.
he was, Cyrus. He was whining. He was like, he's not going to make it again. I was like,
Tears were just flowing.
Yeah.
You got to believe it, Cyrus. Me and DJ
Puts
were
a whole
never
box of
trying to.
Kleenex on his own.
Oh, my
I
God.
know you love me.
Man, good to have you here, Cyrus. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Good. Like, my daughter just literally finished her homework on my laptop, and I just ran over.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
No, good deal. Let's see. Adrian in the house. We got Adrian in here.
Adrian!
The boys are back in town. Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. So that was the intro by the one and only Remy, representing Spooktober. Remy, if you wouldn't mind letting the people know what movie we're discussing and who we have as a special guest tonight.
Yes, the movie we're discussing today is Gamera, Attack of the Legion. And joining us tonight is none other than the man, Nick Adam.
Yes.
The Monster Report.
From the Monster Report.
Nick Adam, everyone.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
Yeah.
Nick, how are you, brother? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Love talking some kaiju with some sci-fi nerds right here.
Yes, sir.
Damn
Yes, sir.
straight.
Live and direct. And
Okay,
yes,
Adrian.
Nick is in the house. Nick is
Yeah.
in the house. Remy
Ray is
is not too thrilled.
Wow.
Please.
It's gonna be a long hour for you, Trey.
Yeah.
Because we're
Do
gonna
whatever you
discuss
want.
Gamera. This is a great film. So actually, guys, before we actually get into the stream of questions, Nick here, he's got a couple of things that he would like to share with you guys with his experience based off this film. So, Nick, the floor is yours, brother.
All right. Okay. Well, the Gamera Advent of Legion or Attack of Legion film, obviously, it's one of the fan favorites. And we, in 2015, did a Kickstarter to bring the composer for the Gamera trilogy, the 90s Gamera trilogy, Mr. Ko Otani, pictured here, to Chicago, to G-Fest. That Kickstarter was successful. The concert was called Symphonic Fury, which was the music of both Gamera and Godzilla. So it was the movements of the Symphonic Fantasia by Akira Fukube in the second half of the concert, but the first half of the concert was Mr. Ko Otani's music. The Kickstarter was to, of course, hire the symphony, get the music rights, all of the equipment, everything to make the Pickwick Theater work correctly, and have this be a successful event. And we were able to raise an extension goal to get Mr. Otani to fly out from Japan to Chicago to be a part of the concert, to actually listen to his own music that he has composed live for the very first time, because he's never heard his own music performed live. He's never composed his own symphony to do this, because a lot of the time of the recording of it is done in synth rather than with a live symphony or without recorded symphony. So this was a real treat for Mr. Otani to hear his music. He also is the composer of GMK, so he is a Godzilla and Gamera composer. And so we were able to perform the music of GMK as well. So it was an astounding evening. I filmed the concert actually for a DVD Blu-ray during that time. And so that was just a a wonderful evening. I've got such great memories. Mr. Otani was there during rehearsals when I was kind of working on figuring out camera angles and recording. And we were both in the balcony. Actually, he's there just smiling ear to ear with his iPad held high, watching the rehearsal, listening to it, recording it with his iPad. And after every song was performed, he just was, nice, thumbs up, loved it, and was just an amazing time. After the concert was over, of course, we got the chance to interview him for the backers of the Kickstarter campaign. Got to take him out to breakfast and share some family photos, he and I, and enjoy the last day he had here in the United States before he got to fly home back to Japan. Just a wonderful, wonderful man, and so always have great memories of this G-Fest in 2015, and it's just made a lasting impression on me. But yeah, the music of Gamera is incredible. You guys have seen the trilogy and you've seen GMK, and so how impactful this man's music is. And the inspiration that Akira Ifukube, the OGs of the composing world for kaiju, have previously made, and that has influenced his musical style as well. So very bombastic and just very driving, and to hear it again with that live symphony. And I was on stage with them filming it, actually. So, you literally feel the music, not just listen to it. You're literally feeling it from the brass section and the drums and everything that's happening there. Just something that will forever be in my mind and in my heart. So, yeah. Any questions, comments, anything on the G-Fest, the concert that we put on? And obviously we'll get into the conversation on Gamera too.
Well, Nick, I will say it's kind of hard to put in words for everything you just explained, because I could picture everything you were saying. And from how it sounds, dude, that was an incredible atmosphere to be in, to be around a humble presence like that, man. That's everything. And it makes me wish that I was at more events like that, because, those are memories that you have the opportunity of creating, and memories you won't forget, man. That's awesome, man. Anybody have any questions for Nick?
Nothing I can think of.
Yeah.
Wow, Nick.
Not a question, but more of a statement. It's been years since I've seen the Heisei era.
The Heisei trilogy.
Yeah, the Heisei trilogy. And as I was watching it last night and today at work, one of the things that popped out to me was, oh man, I forgot how good this music was. So when you're talking about like the music and the composition and everything, I connect with that, because I was like towards the end, I think it's like the Gamera powering up for the final, fatality, whatever. I remember thinking like, oh damn, I guess that's some good music. I forgot about that.
If you think the music for this one is incredible, Serge, you need to listen to the score for the third one, Revenge of Iris. That has some of the best piece of music I've ever heard in a kaiju film in general.
Remy, I agree with that.
Like, it's up there with Akira Ifukube, like literally.
Guys,
It's been so long, but to me, it sounds like a problem for November.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Are gonna be awesome. Hearing the music by an orchestra, what was the score that stood out to you the most?
Well, that's a good question.
Of course, it's all incredible. Now, since it was both Akira Ifukube and Otani's music being played, I'm not trying to compete the two of them, because very different ways in which they approach the films that they are scoring. This film really stood out as if you jumped into the concert blind and just at any point, a random point in the concert, this score for Gamera 2, Advent of Legion or Attack of Legion, I've heard many titles for the subtitle of it, but the Gamera 2 score really stands out as unique. The Legion theme, the battle themes of it, the military march, all of that really is iconic, and it's just a one that you can recognize instantly. I agree with Remy, though. The Gamera 3 is a beautiful score, and since that film takes you in the highs and the lows emotionally, the score does the same thing as the film does. But of course, since I'm more of a Godzilla fan, and that's not to say anything, not to diminish Gamera, because I love Gamera as well, but the GMK score, absolutely amazing. And driving, heart, thumping, just driving score that just was, you did not want it to end at any point. So, of course, I didn't want the whole concert to end at any point, because I could just listen to this, nonstop. And then you go into the Ifukube Symphonic Fantasia. They also had an early version of an Ifukube song that you'll hear a lot of cues into the Godzilla and other Toho films, and that song was called Kishi Mai, and that was something that was, you could tell where he was going to start making the themes for the different kaiju that he scored for Toho.
Yeah. No, that's, I mean, and like I said, that's just awesome. And nothing goes better with a kaiju film than great, beautiful music. It makes everything so much better. So you can't go wrong with that at all. And Nick, we appreciate you sharing that experience, an awesome experience that I might add. But also, I'm not sure those who are watching and guys that's on the stream, there's also something else that Nick does. And Nick, I've had the luxury of reacting to some of the trailers, but Nick also, he remakes trailers. Right. So like I said, I've had the luxury to react to a few. One of my favorites he did was The Creature of the Black Lagoon. That's one of my favorite movies ever. So that was really, really awesome. So I wanted to show you guys what Nick put together. So let's see what we got.
Okay.
It's starting to feel like the seams of the world are coming apart. Gamera, then Gauss, but now it looks like extraterrestrials.
And he asked unto him, What is thy name? And he answered, saying, My name is Legion, for I am the one of the many. Mark 9, verse 8. Legion.
He's here.
what you guys think.
That was killer, dude. That was like so tense.
I know, yeah, freaking the music choice for that. Jeez.
It was
Like,
awesome.
prepare for war between Gamera and Legion. My God.
That
And he
made me
had,
want to watch
like-
it again.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it's awesome. He's got so many of them. So if you guys get a chance, an opportunity, just go over to YouTube and go to the Monster Report and just go check out tons of trailers. There's so many of them. I'm not even kidding. He's had a lot of them.
Yeah, I love his Nick. I love your trailer that you did for War of the Gargantuas. I think that's probably one of your best ones, honestly.
Man,
Yeah.
Nick, Nick was able to impress Trey.
One more
Oh,
time.
yeah. Go to the YouTube channel. All the Gamera films are there, with the exception of one. I think you guys know which one.
Is that the last Showa film?
Super Monster. Yeah.
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 Okay.
I didn't know exactly how to, use the special effects that are all stock footage, because it's like you've seen these in other films, and I'm sorry, I just did not know how to make the superhero women and the kid playing the organ epic in any way. So it would have been a parody trailer.
No, you gave the movie the respect it deserves. None.
Wow.
Just won't go there. Not one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Well, we are. At least we're talking about a favorite tonight, so that's
Yes,
a
thank God.
bonus. That's a big plus. It's time to get into some Gamera. Remy, you picked a great film. I will say this is one of the very few kaiju films that feels like a sequel. Watching this film actually, and so it wasn't really hard to really keep up with what was going on. And so, Nick, since you're our guest, of course, we're going to start with you. We're going to give you a crack at the first question. What makes the Legion monsters or monsters scary? Because this was a really, really intense. This was like a horror kaiju film, in my opinion. I will say that.
Yeah.
So,
And
I'll
go
start with you, Nick.
All right. Yeah, no pressure. So the fact that Legion itself is not just the one creature, as the line states it when he is quoting from the book of Mark, I believe, in the Bible, which is an interesting choice for a Japanese kaiju film to quote from the Christian Bible, rather than the religion of Shinto, which I believe is the prominent religion typically in Japan. Or no religion anyways, but yeah, that they chose to go with the idea that the Legion, the demon that was sent to Earth, that Jesus was able to cast into the herd of pigs over the cliff,
Right.
that Legion idea here, that it is one of the many. And so the what do you want to call it, the swarm, that's the one that really takes on the humans. The large monster, of course, is destroying the buildings and taking out the military and all. But at least we've got Gamera to go after that. But the swarm really makes that an imposing foe for Gamera. And when they swarm him and they basically have him pinned down, that is how does he fight against something like that? Now Gamera's he's our hero, so he of course comes up with ways to do that. The frightening scenes in the subway train, where they're going after everyone, and it's almost coincidental that it's going after the people. It's not because the people of any value to it, but it's because they have transmitting devices on them, pagers, walkie-talkies, and cell phones, very early cell phones during that time, and they're just in the way. They also, of course, crave the glass, being a silicon-like form, so that the people are just battle fodder, if you will. So they're in the way of things, and so they've got to be taken out. But yeah, that particularly makes these creatures frightening. And of course the fact that this swarm, like a disease spreading in a sense flowering in different cities and moving on from city to city. If we didn't have Gamera to take out, the nest, the flower that was being built there, and that humanity is basically doomed. We can't, with our firepower and our technology, take on this kind of a creature. So we need Gamera to save the day, of course. So yeah, there's something about Legion. If we didn't have Gamera on our side, humanity's side, we would not stand a chance against the Legion monster.
It's always good to know that somebody like Gamera is on our side, especially in a situation, in a crisis like this, because whenever you get the close-up shot with the humans and the Legions, they're dang near the size of the humans. so that's what really makes them scary. And then you have obviously the big Legion monster who's bigger than Gamera in this film. So they are scary in a lot of ways. DJ, what about you? What makes these Legion monsters, in your opinion, scary?
The sheer number of them, they just pop up out of anywhere. And when I was watching this, I couldn't help but kind of compare them to the early forms of Destroya.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
And, just their abilities, the way they kind of move around and everything. But yeah, it the one military guy was able to execute one of them, kind of in one-on-one combat, but it took like an entire magazine to do. And it's just crazy to think that the stuff that we have on us could be what attracts a monster to attack us, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, and like I said, man, thank God for Gamera. We would have been toast. Remy, what about you? What makes the Legion monsters, in your opinion, scary in this film?
Well, I think that Nick and DJ kind of hit on the head, where it's like there's just so many of these things, and the fact that they're kind of split between a swarm of them, and then you have the Mother Legion, which is even towering over Gamera himself. So that makes the intimidation factor a lot more prevalent with these creatures. And I think another thing is I find so terrifying about them is that they're literally kind of after our technology. And think about it, in the day and age that we live today, how much we rely on our technology. If these things were to attack us, we would be screwed.
That's a good point.
Things, go after transmitters, as they say. So I think it's that kind of existential fear about them that really kind of amps up the scare tactic in the movie. And with the smaller ones, their designs are just so jagged and rough that I think just by turning around they could literally probably slice somebody open. Their entire body can move over and they could just slice you. What is it? That one scene where they're on the subway and they kill conductor, and you just see that pool of blood spray onto the window. That's just okay. Because to be honest, in the Heisei films, in the Godzilla Heisei films, you don't really see a lot of human blood.
Right, yeah.
Blood. You see kaiju blood, but you don't really see human blood. So in this film, Gamera's just no, we're going to show you actual human casualties in this. So it's just oh, all right. So yeah, but I think that's what kind of makes it scary.
Okay. That's a great answer from everybody. Serge, last but not least, brother, what makes the Legion monsters, in your opinion, scary in this film?
Well, I think number one, I 100% agree with Nick. I think if you know anything about, the religious stuff, adding that, I didn't remember it when I was watching this movie again, but when he brought up the verses from the book of Mark, it just kind of added a different kind of weight to what was going on, a different weight, a different seriousness. And that was very cool. For me, I was oh shoot, man, this sounds real apocalyptic. And so it made me feel the movie different. The other thing is that I think as humans, we fear swarms of anything, right? You know, like if you hear that a swarm of bees is in your neighborhood, you're going inside, right? Because you're afraid, like you're afraid of getting hurt. And so like these swarms of these small creatures that remind me of just like a bunch of shrapnel, kind of goes back to what Remy said, like they're metal, they're sharp. Metal hurts us, you know, sharp metal is dangerous. It's just like swarms of shrapnel like flying around you, that you don't want to be around that, you know. So that's adds to the kind of like, oh, I don't want to get hurt. That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
And then too, also like the for this I think it was DJ, you mentioned that the swarm was reminiscent of the small version of Destroyer from Godzilla vs. Destroyer. I thought that too, but in fact, I kind of think this was a little bit of inspiration for Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, because we had that quick scene earlier in the movie, like Remy said, there's that blood splatter. You don't really get that in a lot of Godzilla movies until Megaguirus, and now you can kind of see where it came from. From this movie. And so that too, you know, like that's a little bit unusual for our kaiju movies. They don't really take the human casualties into account that much, and this one did pretty quickly. And so that's another thing that kind of like sets the tone, like, oh shoot, like, man, this is serious, this is real. And
interesting observation.
Thank you, Train.
Thank you, Adrian.
Train in the house.
Adrian.
Yeah, this is a great film. Nick, I'm going to come back to you. Since we're discussing a monster film, which, like I said, I feel like this film is could easily be on the horror side. What does each monster in this film represent to you, Nick?
And in the way that you mean represent, like as in metaphorically, essentially, it's like
yes,
in a sense, like Gamera is, you know, a humanity's last ditch effort kind of thing, idea. Yes, I would agree with that kind of idea. And in a lot of ways, if you would think about that spirit of humanity that Gamera embodies, of course, being guardian of the universe. I just call him Guardian of Earth because he's defending Earth against these aliens. But when it comes to the Legion represents largely a system that is after you and seems unstoppable. So most films always go with individual versus individual. It used to be called, like, you know, politically incorrectly. I don't care either way. Man versus man versus machine. You know, man versus self, you know, so something within themselves that they're fighting against. And then there is man versus machine. And the machine can be also the system. And so, like, they're fighting against a government. The FBI and CIA are out to get you kind of idea. And so the Legion, in a lot of ways, with its many minions, you know, a leader, but with all of these minions to follow its lead, almost in a, you know, in a sort of way that they're, you know, what do they call those, NSPs or whatever, you know, they're non whatever, or what are they? Yeah, the game players, you know, that are in there, the computers, the bots, essentially, that
NPCs.
NPCs. Yeah, the idea that they're just going after you mindlessly. And in fact, you know, a lot of the Legion, the small creatures, are there to die. They're there to sacrifice themselves for the Mother Legion. And so, yeah, everything is going towards the idea that the citizens essentially are expendable for the Mother Legion, for the motherland, if you will, let's say. So in a lot of ways, that is a nation, a power structure. That is what essentially, to me, the Legion represents. And of course, Gamera being our fighting spirit, our way of being self-sacrificial, because Gamera is always going to the next level, injuring himself to the point of near death, and in some cases, in some films, death itself. Like Gamera the Brave, he's willing to sacrifice himself for humanity, and so that is the idea that I would gather the representation of what the kaiju in this represent.
And I do want to piggyback off something you said, Nick, that you made me think about how, which we know Gamera, he's the guardian of Earth, right? He has a spirit of just humbleness, protecting mankind. But you said something about the Legion and how they operate in the system. I didn't really think about that until you said that. So that's a really interesting point that you made, because when you go and watch this film, you can kind of see when Gamera does come back for the rematch against the bigger Legion monster, they circle back around and they begin to go back towards the fight to go help the Legion against Gamera. So operating in the system, I didn't think about that. That's a really good, interesting point that you made. DJ, what does each monster in this film represent to you?
I would say the smaller Legion monsters is kind of a corruption. They slowly destroy an area to gather resources, like Nick mentioned, to feed the mother one, to empower the plant, the spore that tries to launch its pod. So, it's, like I said, they don't leave much in their wake. Once they come through, the main monster, the big one, it's it's oppressive. It's domineering.
That's good.
Yeah, and in the first battle that Gamera had with it, he almost couldn't do anything. It seemed like, like it had like a counter to everything that he was trying to throw at it.
It did, yeah. I was like, geez.
Physical attacks, and then even later on in their second bout, when the humans helped destroy part of it, all of a sudden it's got these, laser tentacles, shooting out everywhere and stuff. It's like, how do you so it's just very oppressive, very domineering, and then can't really say much different from what Nick said with regards to Gamera. The fact that he kind of creates does the Goku spirit bomb.
Basically, yeah.
Just draws all the energy in and stuff. But to add to it, he's the embodiment of perseverance.
I like that. That's good.
No matter what's thrown at him, no matter how humanity may view him, he's still persevering to do the right thing.
Yeah, Gamera is definitely going to find a way to get it done. Like you and Nick said, whether it's him having to put his life on the line, he has to sacrifice himself, but whatever it takes, he's going to go above and beyond. And so that's one way and one reason that I can connect with Gamera, because of his mentality, like his strong-willed mind. Like he has a mentality where he's not going to quit. He's not going to give up. He's going to do everything that he possibly can to protect not only the world, but just humanity in general. Remy, what does each monster in this film represent to you, in your opinion, in this film?
Well, I think that DJ and Nick both offered like really, really good points, actually, like some very good observations that I didn't even think of when I watched the movie. I'm like, oh, damn, you're right. I could see that. But I can't take credit for this, but there was a video I watched that was kind of analyzing Gamera, and it was this film basically, and it was talking about kind of like biblical imagery that we were talking about earlier with the Bible mentioning legion and stuff. And like almost think of it as that way. I'm like, well, yeah, legion. This movie could almost be representative of the demon legion in the Bible. And there's also sort of like in the video also they mentions that there's kind of like sort of like Christ imagery with Gamera himself. Like he dies and then he rose again on the third day and he comes back to life and he's stronger and he's able to actually cast out the demon, aka with technically kind of the Holy Spirit, but like a Holy Spirit Mega Buster, I guess, and just completely annihilates it. So it's just like kind of like that. So I kind of see like the religious like undertones almost of them like kind of like making it akin to the story in the Bible with Jesus casting out the demon legion, and then correlate that with Gamera taking down the Mother Legion at the end of the film.
Let's see. We got some comments in here. Love this movie more than the first and third movie.
Oh, okay. Wow. Usually the third movie is everybody's favorite. It's freaking gold. The Texarkana Devils.
I need to look that up.
Heard about that, but I mean, I want to watch it.
Probably a long time ago.
This movie sure is better than Space Godzilla.
Ooh,
yeah,
wow.
Exactly.
This is the best Trey. Oh my gosh!
Wow, Trey, where are you?
The best design.
No, don't bring him in.
Iris was nice.
Bring Trey into the stream. All right, Serge, you're up, man.
You're with the band, bro.
What does each monster in this film represent to you? In this film,
you know, my takeaway is, I mean, obviously not that dissimilar from everybody else's, but it was natural versus unnatural. Likened a little bit to man versus machine, but a little different in the side of natural versus unnatural. You know, Gamera is natural to us. You know, like apart from being a kaiju, right? But he's of Earth. You know, it looks like a large version of a turtle, right? Which is ours. And of course, you know, Legion is not from here, right? Alien, and then not just alien, but metallic. And that was one thing that I thought was very cool. Just hearing the large version of Legion move, like you can hear the metal in him, right? And with that, you know, what it kind of reminded me of, all the, I don't know what they're called, the machine creatures from Matrix that swarm.
Oh, I know what you're talking about that.
Yeah. Like it reminded me of that. Hell, maybe that was the influence. I don't remember when those movies came out. And so I felt very much like, you know, like nature versus machine, man versus machine, but yeah, a little bit more so just nature versus machine, just because of all of those
that's good
mechanical aspects of Legion, especially because like you hear about that scene. I was trying to follow the scene. I think it was like when I was at work, that the little legions were like eating like the fiber optics, and that's why when like you saw them, like they like when someone was able to kill them, you could see like machinery in them and stuff like that, like metal stuff good like point. That. Yeah. So with that, I was like, oh dude, like Gamera's fighting like part machine creatures, and they're also not from here. So for me, yeah, it was very much like the Terminator-ish, you know, man versus machine, natural versus unnatural. If you're a fan of metal, Fear Factory, like all of their stuff is, there you go, Sentinel. You know, man versus machine, natural versus unnatural. So that was like my big takeaway, and particularly in the fighting, when you can hear like the sound of bending metal, the sound of metal like moving against itself whenever like the big legion would move, which I thought was very cool.
No, that's the good stuff. Great answer from everyone. I'm really enjoying the conversation. that we're having so far. Nick, I'm coming back to you, brother. Describe the connection between Gamera and the humans in this film.
All right. And so, again, getting into the metaphysical or the metaphorical, anyways, of what the film represents, what the storyline and connections of why is it Gamera needs a connection with a human. And so, again, going back to the biblical references. So, Gamera has the connection with a young lady. I am blanking on her name. I just know that the
Sagi, I believe.
I'm terrible with names, so I can.
Sagi, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a Sagi. Yeah.
And she is the actress is, I believe, literally Steven Seagal's daughter, actually.
Yeah.
So the connection that Gamera has with a human, Legion, interestingly, did not have to have a connection with a human, though Iris did. So that's what makes this kind of idea that the machine didn't need it. The creature that was silicon based and alien, of course, did not need that. But the mythological creature Iris and the mythological creature of Gamera needs to have that kind of connection with a human. So that is back into the idea that to connect with humanity, Gamera, like Jesus coming into the world, needs, in a sense, a connection with a human. And in a lot of ways, the virgin birth, essentially, the connection with Mary, the mother of Jesus, and coming into the world. Now, of course, that connection gets severed, of course, in this film. That what do you want to call it? Psychic connection that essentially they have with one another. Gamera has to disconnect with the young lady through that. But then Iris in the next film connects with, this evil way, connects with a human, and so comes into the world and becomes, all encompassing as Iris is, and seeming to be unstoppable through the connection of humanity. And so, that is kind of that idea there. Yes, he is our fighting spirit. Yes, he is our, he is our, what do you want to call it? He is our hope, our last ditch effort and all of that. And yes, he does come from the idea that an ancient culture of Atlantis, Mu Empire, whatever you might call it, there's all kinds of theories of cultures before history was written and all. And so, the Gamera being either a manufactured creature by humanity, whether it was manufactured through natural selection or artificial selection through humanity, whatever that is, Gamera always has that idea that he has to become the sacrificial lamb for humanity. And so that's always found a different way of going about a kaiju film, because a lot of the times you don't have that kind of direct connection. I guess maybe the closest thing would be like a Miki Sagusa psychic connection with Godzilla, but that's all it is a psychic communication back and forth. There isn't that your pain becomes my pain kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
I can take your pain upon myself idea with Sagusa. But in this case, with Asagi, you did get that. And so, that connection, had its deeper roots as it went along, but in a sense where Gamera's rebirth is happening, then it's disconnected. He's powerful again and, ready to take on the beast, as it were.
No, that's a great answer and a great way to look at it, Nick. Trace, he says the first.
Wow. Okay. Well, of course, Hans could come out soon and ask me.
That'll do it.
Man.
Remy, don't stop. Just let it be.
All right.
DJ, I'm going to come to you, brother. Describe the connection between Gamera and the humans in this film.
I don't think I can top what Nick said.
Well, damn. It's so short, DJ. Come on.
I mean, he was on point with everything. I mean, it's what I appreciate about this trilogy is that it takes the connection more seriously with humans. Whereas in the original Gamera series, it was just kind of goofy, like how the kids are just like, "Oh, Gamera, you got to do this," and like he does it. Whereas this one, it's like through the bond that they have, the girl is able to encourage him and strengthen him
Right.
when he needs it the most. When he's struggling, and that that bond is what it's what helps him to persevere, like I mentioned before. So I appreciate that aspect of the connection.
Mm-hmm.
But
That was
yeah,
awesome.
I don't really think I could add much else.
Good. No, great answer, DJ. Remy, what about you, brother? Describe the connection between Gamera and the humans in this film.
Well, I think the connection between Gamera and the humans in the film is that like both Gamera and the human characters like have kind of the same goal, and that's like to like spare Earth from the danger of the Legion and like what they would do to the planet. So like, and I kind of like that throughout most of the film, like you have some military who are actually like willing to help Gamera or understand that he actually is on our side, and then you still have like the other ones though who are just like kind of looking at him as like another enemy almost, or like something they can't really trust. Like at the very end of the film, when they're telling the general like, "Hey, we got to help Gamera," he's like, "Why should we help a monster?" So like there kind of is that like kind of like disconnect between humanity and Gamera, especially
Right.
like worked in the first movie. Because like in the first movie we had the Gauss, and yet the military kind of saw Gamera as the bigger threat, which I don't understand how that makes any sense. Gamera was but I kind of like that, and I think with Asagi, since like in this one there's not as like many like people who are actually like willing to like understand Gamera apart from her. Like the other ones just kind of like see him as like this massive creature that kind of like
Right.
is like kind of like stands over our own like morality almost. It's kind of just like, well, he's kind of disconnected from us in that regard. But like with Asagi, she kind of feeds him and like, no, he actually is willing to help us. He actually is here to protect us. We just have to like kind of get out of his way or help him in order to take down this threat. So like I like that, and like they kind of explore that a bit more in Gamera 3 as well.
No. That did definitely in Gamera 3, Remy. I do agree with you on that point. And another point you made, yeah, they did see Gamera. Now that I think about it, a bigger threat than they did with Guy. I don't know how that was possible, but they did.
I'm like, Gamera's not killing people.
Yeah.
Serge, describe the connection between Gamera and the humans in this film.
Okay, so what kind of just popped out to me, which piggyback off of the rest of y'all too, was faith and lack of faith. I mean, there's a lot of like faith overtones in this movie. Yeah, I mean, even just with the name of the movie, right? Because like you see like the kids and you see like the younger people with like this like faith in Gamera, and then of course there's that one older general, I guess. It's just kind of like, no, like why would we help a monster? And so there's this faith and there's this lack of faith, which obviously for him, the general changes in the latter part of the movie, and it reminded me of I can't tell you exactly like what verse it is in the Bible, but it literally popped out to me as I was watching the movie, because you see the kids so excited, and of course it seems like, oh yeah, well, Gamera movies are kind of like this, like, oh, kids, they're excited about Gamera,
Right.
nobody knows why, but they are a giant monster, right? But it reminded me of like the verse that basically talks about like childlike faith, and like the general needed to have that childlike faith to be able to just like, okay, let's just support Gamera. Um, so that popped out to me while I was watching it too. So again, another Christ-like kind of
Right, yeah.
faith thing going
Mhm.
along with Gamera versus humans, because, well, there are humans that have faith and that don't, and so that was, yeah, I definitely felt that in this movie, which is weird. Again, I think Nick mentioned, yeah, because
Yeah, a lot of
Japanese
comparisons.
movie.
Yeah, a lot of comparisons and similarities. No, it's great and deep at the same time. Especially if you can catch it. Nick, I want to ask you from an emotional standpoint, how did this film make you feel?
This film, is a roller coaster. It's fantastic in so many ways. I do find some of the, in the dub, especially some of the dialogue, very hilarious at times.
I watched the dub.
Yes, and it's not too terribly different from the subtitled version, but yeah, the dub, the kind of story arcs and the bits of comedy that they try to throw in there at times. This one, does definitely try to, from the beginning of the film, try to set you in this sort of apocalyptic mode of idea that the seams of the earth are falling apart, and well, we're here to put it back together. And it's like, okay, but you don't even know what you're up against. All we got is this idea of a meteor, and we don't know where it is, and then some alcohol, some beer, bottles got robbed, but not the beer, just the bottles, because the glass. So it was like a lot of that. Do love the fact that we had the cameo by the inspector in both 1 and 3, being the rent-a-cop in the beer warehouse. That was fantastic. I love that actor too. Yeah, makes a cameo in GMK as well. But yeah, that the inspector, and the fact that his story arc does come full circle in the third film. Wish he would have done more with this one, but yeah, the small cameo that he had was great too. But yeah, it has those emotional roller coasters at times, a little bit of comedy and lightheartedness, and then we're back to the system. And we talked about the man versus system, or the nature versus system idea, and it's even happening not just between the monsters, but obviously in the protagonist human characters. Like we mentioned, that there was the struggle of power in the military, and the military generals that who are in power, who do not want to support Gamera, and the ones that do. And so that struggle is happening within even the human system, of people who are on the ends with the power, and the ones who are the consultants, the scientists, the ones who actually know what they're doing, and the ones that just want to shoot first and ask questions later. There's a lot of that kind of going on. There is the direct connection with humanity, and even the direct injuries and danger that comes to humanity throughout this film. There's always the case of the human toll, but it's largely, in a lot of these kaiju films, unseen, and it's just, we know it's happening. We know that people are getting trampled. There are people in those buildings that are falling, and people underground getting, crushed in the subways and all that, but we don't see them. And this one directly connected us to that, whether it was the small legion or the large one, and the dangers that come with that. And so, yeah, there was a lot of that happening with this. There was, the idea that the military, again, with all the technology that we have, we were, beholden to the giant monster, the big giant turtle. So there was a lot of that going on. And so, yeah, this one, it's very entertaining. It is absolutely entertaining. It's one I could definitely put on at any point. It doesn't make you feel so emotional that you have to get ready emotionally to watch it. I think of Gojira 54, where you do have to be in somewhat of a mood to watch that, just because of the pace of that film. This film is paced in a sort of way that you can be in any emotional state and jump right into this film, and any of the Gamera trilogies. I mean, they just stand alone very well. on their own. So yeah, this one I have no complaints about from an emotional standpoint. It doesn't leave you feeling like you lacked for anything.
Right.
I do appreciate that about it because the hero does win, and it feels like a satisfying ending to a kaiju film. So
Yes.
it's all around just an emotional, great film, and an emotionally satisfying film.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly with you on that, Nick, for sure. DJ, what about you? How did this film make you feel from an emotional standpoint?
Well, I mean, the Legion themselves was kind of horrifying to think about, like we talked about earlier. Just what yeah, no Kenny's.
No.
Yes. This made this movie so great. This whole thing. Thank God.
Oh God.
Oh wow. I will
Oh,
do it. Thank you, Psychosis.
oh man.
But if you were to put the Legion into today, I mean, it was horrifying to think about, just the small amount of people that had glasses and cell phones or whatever back when this was created in the 90s. Now it's even more rampant. I mean, you've got people walking around with 2 cell phones and
Shade.
and or other devices and things like that. So it's crazy to think about, like, what would happen in that situation today.
Right.
And
yeah, I agree.
And then and it's exciting to watch Gamera whenever he comes on, because like in this one he's just all business, and that's another aspect of this trilogy that I really appreciate, because like like in the original Gamera movies, sometimes it just seemed like he was just like chilling out,
Right.
Doing cartwheels.
Yeah. Cartwheels, or
Playing with
like
kids.
just doing all weird stuff. And this one, it's like, he shows up, blows up the pod at the very beginning, and it's like, and he's like, all right, I'm out. Like, I did what I needed to do, I'm done. And and then he takes on the gets swarmed by the Legion and everything, and it's like, rather than just kind of falling over and letting them take him over, he's like, all right, I'm gone, let's go. And takes off and spins around, knocks them all off and everything. And you almost thought that was the end of them, because there's just they were so over him and stuff. So, but yeah, so
All right, Remy, what about you? How did this film make you feel from an emotional standpoint?
Emotion, I would say, like, it kind of like gave me like I would say it was a very like emotional, like roller coaster almost. Like the way I think the film is structured, and like it's a pretty well paced movie too. Like it does not slow down at all. Like it just keeps going and going and going. But I think what I really like about it is that like it feels like a classic kind of like blockbuster in a way, where you have big spectacle and you have big action, of course, and whatnot. And like it manages to like execute all of that in such a like very well done way. Like all the miniatures, all the effects, like
The effects were awesome.
Oh yeah, no, the CGI is great. The freaking suits for Gamera and Legion are fantastic. Like they're some of the best kaiju suits I've seen. Like I think all of it is just like really good. And like this is like one of those films too where like it gives you a character who happens to be a kaiju, Gamera, that you have the audience actually like outright rooting for. Like when he's in pain, you're like, ah, damn it, like get up.
Yeah. Yep.
Like pursuing and keep fighting Legion to save Earth, and like at the very end, you just feel like this sense of like you get this like uplifting feeling of it's like, yes, Gamera's victorious. So when he leaves, you get like that extra like little like cool factor where you have some of the actual military men actually like saluting Gamera when he flies off.
That was funny how he looked at him.
He was like, "What?" He was like, "You're welcome." I don't see Godzilla doing none of that.
Oh boy!
And it flies off. Yeah, Like, yeah, no, I thought that, yeah, it was a very like emotional roller coaster, but like I think it's like probably, I think what blockbusters of the day should aspire to be, that kind of like give you that like kind of service level entertainment, but then give you something a little bit more deeper like underneath it as well.
Nah, good deal, good answer, Remy. I'm enjoying all the answers so far. Great discussion so far. Serge, how did this film make you feel from an emotional standpoint?
Oh, Remy's done. Awesome. Let me see. I felt like it was a very good balance of like emotion. Like it didn't get too deep. Not like for me. I don't remember who said it. Like I think it was Nick. You have to kind of get prepared for like some movies, like 54. For me, it's -1. Like I have to get ready for Godzilla -1 because of like as a parent, like for the scenes with the daughter, like, oh man, like I got to get ready for that, or I'll just skip it because like it's too much for me. Like at some point, sometimes, because I have daughters, and this movie never got like that deep, but it got deep enough. And again, like as a parent, like the scene where like the little girl's crying because she's like, is Gamera ever gonna wake up? And mother's like, he'll wake up soon. You know, like like scenes like that. Scenes like that were kind of, oof, you know, come on, man. You know, don't let the children down. Protector of children's and whatever BS, you know, whatever. You know, like stuff like that was deep enough, right? Not too deep. And then a bit of like lighthearted stuff. I have to share, like when I was watching it, again, it's been like years since I've seen it. The scene where like the big Legion comes out of the ground and there's like some dude like on a phone, like on the street, and like he comes out of the ground, and the guy's just like, oh, like gets thrown off, like,
oh yeah.
It was like it's just a really good. It was a really good balance of like deep enough, a little bit of comedy, a bit of seriousness, you know, gravity to the situations and stuff. I thought it was very good overall. The little bit of seriousness with like the general regaining faith, I guess you could say. Just pretty well balanced. I was happy with that. Like it got it had me involved emotionally enough.
Yeah, it was a definitely emotional.
It wasn't one of those where I was like, no, I don't want to see the girl cry. I'm gonna fast forward.
All right, Nick, this is the one I'm curious to hear from you about. What is your favorite battle or action sequence in this film? You have more than one, so you can just ramble on if you would like. Okay,
yeah. Obviously the final battle is very satisfying in the way that Gamera always, you know, has get beat down before he wins the battle, and you know, comes out with whatever it is that secret power that he has that we didn't know about. Now he has it. So, but I will say this: there is something to be said about the initial sequence where Gamera does this reveal, and you know, has the flower that he has to knock over and blow up. There is something about that action sequence that is really amazing. The fact that not only is he knocking it over, but he's pulling it out by the roots, and it's being pulled through the city streets. And you know, when he blows it up, the people that were on the ground that were knocked off their feet even take shelter in the crevices that are created by those roots that were in the ground. And so there was something about that sequence that I just like, wow, I want to watch that again. You know, it's like this really works well. And who would have thought of that in another special effects film where it's like he knocks it over, it falls over and it blows up. Okay, we got that. But the small details, like it was that it planted itself into the city itself, into the structure of that building. and into the infrastructure of the streets. And so there was something about that just really resonated with me well. And of course, that scene in Sendai, is really great too. And the fact that what he's got to do. He's got to do the same thing he did in the other city, but do it again in this one. And the counter is basically counting down to the point where is he going to be a success or a failure. And so we've got to have, of course, our, act 2 where something's going to go wrong. And is it like all odds are against us? And yeah, that really worked well with the story arc. But yes, obviously, the final battle is fantastic. It is well lit with all of the explosions that are happening, very fireworks almost looking, with the dark night sky. I always like kaiju battles that are happening in night. And some people really prefer to see it in broad daylight, and that's fine. I don't mind that. I think they look a lot scarier at night. And I think there's a lot more realism seeing them in darkness, under the cover of night, maybe with moonlit and with fire, and whatever else light source that is out there to be able to see them. But yeah, those initial attacks on the Legion mother with all the explosions going on around it, that is just really sequenced well. And of course, the military trying over and over and over again to the point where it's like, all we can do is maybe distract it a bit so Gamera can strike the final blow. So yeah, this film is full of them. Love them all. And the hats off to Shinji Higuchi, special effects director during this, and went on to do some pretty impressive stuff actually. And really admire his work.
Yeah, I'm with you, Nick. I loved all the action sequences in this film, a lot of explosions, which I did enjoy in this film a lot. The special effects were great, and I'm with DJ in the sense like everything Gamera threw at this Legion, it's like he had a counter for every, like when Gamera just rip off his tentacles or his arms, whatever he ripped off. I'm like, okay, Gamera got him, and then he starts charging up again. I'm like, really? I'm like, how is Gamera going to defeat him? And when I watch these movies, any movie I watch, I tell a lot of people I'm big on scenery, whether that's the background, things that's going on around the background. I'm very detailed. But there is a scene where it's almost like the sun is going down, almost like dawn time, and Gamera's just kind of in this shot where he's kind of bent over with his eyes closed. I love that shot. That was probably my favorite shot in this film. And also when Gamera comes back for round 2 against the Legion, where he's firing off his energy blast and he's kind of sliding across the ground. I thought that was awesome too. That was really, really cool. And he was throwing everything he had at this Legion. I'm like, why does he got a counter for every single thing? I was like, how in the world is he going to beat this Legion? But no, it was great. I love horror. I'm really big into horror. So when all the Legions covered Gamera, I thought that was really, really cool how that was done. And then Gamera just like, I got to fly off and do something. Boom, he just flew off. But in this film, I did not mind the nighttime fighting because of the way it was still well lit at the end. So great battles, great fun, great explosions. So I had fun with it. DJ, what about you? What is your favorite battle sequence or action sequence in this film?
I mean, obviously at the top is the big spirit bomb Kamehameha blast. Yeah, you can't really top that because it was unexpected. Like I'm used to him spitting the fireballs and everything, and then all of a sudden it's just like powering up and opens up his chest, and he's got like the Guyver mega smasher. And it's like, dang. But I appreciated some of the smaller scenes. I mean, obviously everything that Gamera was in was awesome. But I appreciated like what the humans were doing to help out, like coming up with the wiring system to trick the Legion from jumping on into the brawl at the end and attacking Gamera, and then they were able to wipe him out with coordinated attack in that aspect, and then the military going into the tunnel system and finding the Legion crawling around everywhere and doing what they can to rescue the people that were still trapped down there. So yeah, overall, couldn't complain about any of the action scenes in this film.
What about you, Remy? No, great answer, DJ. By the way, what is your favorite battle sequence or action sequence in this film? Trey said that this was the best finisher in any kaiju film up until 2014. So he felt pretty good about this, Remy. So we gotta applaud Trey for that. Good deal, Trey. Good deal.
Good job, Trey. Actually,
yeah, go for it, Remy.
Yeah, I think well, my favorite, of course, is the end finale fight between Gamera and Legion, because that's where all the stops come out, and that's when get the big finale with the kaiju. Yeah, again, what Nick said, and what you said, Donald, was the fight is actually well lit. You can still, I actually really like night fights. You just have to apply good lighting in order to make them seen. I thought 2014 didn't take it into account, but whatever. So you have to have that kind of
wow,
good lighting. I mean, it's true, but yeah, no, the
Blu-ray
between the Blu-ray, I think fixed it, but whatever. But the end fight between Gamera and Legion, where you have Gamera the entrance of Gamera coming in and sliding and shooting fireballs. That's one of the best kaiju entrances I've seen. Just Gamera sliding in is all right, bah. Blocking all of them at the same time. I thought that was really cool. And of course, at the very end, you get the awesome Mega Buster, Kamehameha, Spirit Bomb, whatever. This thing shooting out of his chest and annihilating the Mother Legion. That's also really amazing too. But I also love that moment where Gamera decides to literally grab the two pinchers at the end of his head and just hold them.
Sick of your crap.
And rips them off. And it's literally a DBZ fight where it's haha, you fool. This wasn't even my true form. And then Mother Legion pops out and has all those spindly laser tentacles shooting everywhere. So I thought that was really cool. Yeah, but I also really like the I also really like the helicopter sequence too, with Gamera holding back the Mother Legion. When people are trying to get away from there, because that reminds me almost of a scene you would see in a superhero movie, where it's the hero trying to not fight the villain, but at least hold the villain back while people evacuate out of the area. So it kind of had that feeling to it. But yeah, no, the action in this movie was fantastic.
What about you, Serge? What is your favorite battle sequence and or action sequence in this film? Great answer, by the way, Remy.
Actually, the one part that kind of held my attention, or that kept me thinking, was there at the end where you saw the other, I guess the swarm. I just keep calling it the swarm. The swarm went over to that electrical power, and they were just kind of hanging out there for a while. From scene to scene, there was the main fight, and then there was just them just kind of hanging out. And then the interaction with people, and it reminded me of Godzilla 2019 when Ghidorah hit the electrical whatever it was, and he powered up real quick, but this wasn't real quick. So here I was thinking well, what are they doing? What's happening? And then eventually, it took a little while, but eventually, Gamera rips the whatever off the Big Legion, and then it powers up with their power, or for what I thought was going on,
right?
And then the red whip energy things start coming out. So that was a little bit of a surprise. I just didn't remember that. I think because the movie made me wait for it. And that's what I thought was cool, because like, yeah, like that ending boom, like that Gamera does. It's like, okay, well, I saw that one coming, right? Like I remember that, but how long I had to wait for the Big Legion to have access to those red whip energy beams or whatever, that was what kind of had me not at the edge of my seat, but waiting for it. Like, okay, when is this going to happen? And so that was cool, because it wasn't something. It was something I was anticipating and I was waiting for. And yes, also too, like
tired of playing games.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then also too, like Remy, like you said, like the when Gamera comes in and just kind of keeps sliding and keeps firebombing. I thought, like, that's awesome.
He's like, I'm not stopping.
yeah, and it's funny too, because for me, when he did that, I was like, why didn't you do this in the beginning? You know, so but I enjoyed it because boom, like there it is. So that, and then I guess, yeah, I mean, action. I will say the small time action is when the guy says, I could use a drink, and then the girl's like, here, check it out. I have this. And I was like, girl.
Case.
And I liked how the dad kept trying to, look up the stairs, and the mom just drags him away.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah,
this movie has like some great, like, little small comedic moments.
Yeah, it was great.
That little section was great.
Yeah, no, that was fun.
Yeah, that was cool. Nick, I know we held you hostage a little longer than we were supposed to. So we got
ain't going nowhere.
So we got the final question, and then I have a little trivia for you before we let you go. Out of 5 stars, how would you rate this film?
Oh, wow. I'll tell you this much. This is the film that, honestly, I've felt like of the Gamera series, that if there was somebody that had never seen any of the Gamera films, this would be the one that I would show them, even though it is a sequel. Yes. Just because I think that there's enough in it that you don't have to have seen Guardian of the Universe first to understand where you're coming from. Yep. They know who Gamera is. I get it. So of all the Gamera films, this
5
would be definitely, yeah, I agree. 5. With because kaiju films are already high up there on my list of things that I rewatch all the time anyways. So this has got its rewatchability already. So it is 5 stars in my opinion. This is the film that I have actually had, and just bear with me, I have a dream that I have a dream that I've literally had this dream where I have screened this film for like an audience of people in an outdoor theater that for whatever reason in my head, I'm like, I don't know if they're going to like it, because maybe some people are kaiju fans. Maybe some people have never heard of this. And in literally my dream, I've shown them this. And after it was over, that was pretty good. What else do you got? And it's like, well, there's more, there's more Gamera films. So yes, this is the film that I was showing them in my dream because it, for whatever reason, works. I have shown it to non-kaiju fans and they have liked it, just because it is a compelling story, and it doesn't leave out the human characters. It doesn't try to pander to the audience, and it doesn't try to do the shock value kind of things. Yes, it's got some of those moments. Yes, the blood spurting was pretty shocking at times. That was shocking, and there's some jump scares every once in a while in it, but it doesn't try to do the typical film thing. It does try to do something new and something original, and it doesn't try to just remake the old Gamera films. It definitely takes tokusatsu to a new level, because a lot of the times people turn themselves into a certain mindset when they see a tokusatsu film. They think, okay, it's the men in suits and they're fighting, and it's there's going to be some explosions, and I'm going to be like, well, okay, and show me some CGI. And it's like this one had a good blend of both and gave a real believability to the tokusatsu, whereas some of the films you can see the folds, you can see things like that are just the imperfections that us as kaiju fans have no problem with. but to non-kaiju fans, people who are just movie lovers in general, they may shut their brain down at certain times when they see those kinds of things, when they see those kinds of imperfections, let's say. But this one, with its realistic kind of camera angles at times, realistic kind of portrayal of the damage, that's why I would give it the 5 stars. And sorry, you wanted a simple answer, and I'd never give them.
No, you good, Nick.
We like hearing your thoughts, Nick. That's why.
You're awesome.
We bring you on here.
You're here for a reason. You're here for a reason, brother. DJ, what about you? Out of 5 stars, how would you rate this film?
I'll give it a 5 as well. It was very enjoyable. Could easily rewatch it. And, yeah.
Okay. What about you, Remy? Out of 5 stars, how would you rate this film?
I would give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars.
Okay, I give it a 4.5.
Yeah, honestly, going off of DJ and like Nick said, I think everything about this movie works really, really well. And what Nick also said is I like the fact that instead of kind of repeating the same formula for Gamera, they kind of invent something new with it. With Guardian of the Universe, we had Gauss. But in this one, they created an entirely new original kaiju for Gamera the Face, which is also repeated in Gamera versus Revenge of Iris in the next film. So I kind of like that fact, and I think this is also probably I think the Gamera trilogy in general is one of the best films out of the entire kaiju genre we've ever gotten. I think the amount of artistry and the amount of talent and work that they put into each of these movies, especially with this one, I think shows just how much passion and love the filmmakers had for this character, for Gamera, and that shows in this movie. The only reason why I would give it a 4.5, because you're probably wondering, well, you love it so much, why do you give it a 4.5? Just because, I think the human characters are just a tiny bit. Oh, good God. I think the human characters are just a tiny bit lacking. They're not bad. I really like the human characters, but I think Revenge of Iris is I think a really big step up in the human storyline for that one. That is probably one of the best human storylines in any kaiju film, honestly. So this one's kind of has a basic human storyline with it, but it's still well done. It's just not up to par with what they do with this human cast in a Gamera movie. But yeah, no, my overall rating is still a 4.5 out of 5. I definitely recommend this to any kaiju fan or any film buff in general.
What about you, Serge? Out of 5 stars, how would you rate this film?
I'll go with a 4 out of 5. I mean, it was just really well balanced. I'll second Remy on the human characters, just because earlier I was thinking I'm not really connecting with any of the human characters, and maybe unrightfully so. I was thinking about Godzilla -1 because I watched this movie with English subtitles, so I wasn't hearing English, so I felt am I not connecting with the human characters because of just the movie, or is it because of I'm listening, I'm watching English instead of hearing it? But then I thought about Godzilla -1. I've mainly watched it in Japanese with English subtitles, and there's a lot to connect with in that movie, right? Obviously. But I felt it was more because the human characters, they were just okay, they were there. They weren't bad, but they weren't great. I mean, it's funny because if anything, I connected more with the children because I'm a parent. But with their feelings, which I also did with Godzilla -1, but big time because I'm a parent in Godzilla -1. If you know, you know. But 4 out of 5, because it was good. Even after this right now, I feel I would like to watch this again. Not super late night, and not while I'm at work. So I could enjoy it more. So 4 out of 5.
Good deal. Nick, it was good having you on, brother. Before I let you go, I got to do this to you. I got to do this to everybody. Got to do it to everybody. Haven't did this in a while. We'll just run through about 6 questions and give me your answer. Which one that you prefer, and we'll get you out of here. So, Nick, we'll start with Dracula or Frankenstein.
Oh, Lord.
Frankenstein.
Serge, Dracula or Frankenstein?
Oh, why you got to be like that?
You mean Frankenstein the scientist or his monster?
Yeah. Don.
In the movie, right?
I'm gonna go with Dracula.
Dracula or Frankenstein, DJ?
Dracula.
Remy?
I gotta go with my man Drac.
All right, back to you, Nick. Jason or Michael Myers?
Oh, motherfucker.
Michael Myers, like John Carpenter. It's got to be. Yeah.
Okay, Serge, what about you? Jason or Michael Myers? Halloween edition.
I just like hitting stuff. I'm gonna go with Jason.
DJ, Jason or Michael Myers?
Jason.
Remy, Jason or Michael Myers?
Well, Donald, you and I did that death battle reaction to Michael Myers versus Jason, so you knew who I was rooting for. My boy, Michael Myers.
I'll have to break the tie. I'll have to say Jason.
All right.
Well, Trey also said Jason, stop playing.
Myers, though, he's classic.
All right, Nick, who would you prefer to be? Would you prefer to be the Mummy or the Scarecrow?
Wow.
All right.
Kind of don't want to be either, but wow. It's like I'm either undead or I'm the Scarecrow. Wait, am I the Scarecrow in Batman or the Scarecrow in Wizard of Oz?
You can be the Scarecrow in Batman.
I was going to say this. At least he is.
Scarecrow from Oz. I was like, what?
You don't have a brain.
If I only had a brain.
Oh,
he can sing and dance and walk and talk and everything else. So I'm so if it's the Batman Scarecrow, Batman.
What about you, sir? The Mummy or the Scarecrow?
Batman Scarecrow. I'm down.
DJ, what about you?
Scarecrow.
Remy?
Well, let's be specific here. If we're gonna talk about the Mummy, are we talking about like the Mummy from the Brandon Fraser one? Because if that's the case, then I'll take the Mummy.
Okay. All right. Good deal.
Have immense powers. Hell yeah.
Nick, would you rather be trapped in a haunted house or the House of Mirrors?
Oh. Both would be fun, but okay, we'll go with haunted house.
Okay. What about you, Serge?
I'm gonna go with House of Mirrors. I like a good game.
Okay. DJ?
It's a tough one. As much as I'll go with the House of Mirrors, I think.
Damn.
Okay. What about you, Remy? The haunted house or the House of Mirrors?
You would find me dead before you ever find me in the haunted house of mirrors. I'm not dealing with no ghosts and all that bull crap. Forget that garbage. I don't got time for that.
All right, Nick. 2 more. Would you rather be hunted by the Black Knight or the Witch?
Wait a second. Are we talking about the Black Knight in the Monty Python movie?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Haunted by that Black Knight. Absolutely. He was over.
What about you, Serge?
I second Nick. I'll take the Black Knight.
What about you, DJ?
My legs off.
I'll third it. Black Knight.
Remy?
I'll go with the Black Knight. I haven't seen the movie, but like it sounds funny.
Oh, you got homework, man.
These are...
Now stand aside with the adversary.
All right, last one. Nick, if you could watch one movie between the two, which would it be? Halloween Town or Hocus Pocus?
Never seen Halloween Town, so
that's my generation.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Hocus
it
Pocus
came out when
is-
we were kids.
I was gonna say Hocus Pocus is my generation.
Yeah.
What about you, Serge?
Yeah, I'll go. Sorry, Remy. I'm gonna go with my generation. Hocus Pocus.
No, you're good.
DJ, what about you?
I'll go with Halloween Town.
Really?
Remy?
I'm going Hocus Pocus. Forget Halloween Town.
Oh, all right. Well, that wraps it up. Nick, would you like to tell anyone what you have going on with your channel? Any upcoming events, any upcoming shows? Let everyone know what you have going on.
Okay. Yeah, no events really. Just a lot of things happening on Godzilla Day. So watch the channel, YouTube, and subscribe to the Monster Report, like and subscribe, all of those great things. Getting close to 100,000 subscribers. Going to get that plaque. Yeah, it's about 2,000 subscribers shy of the 100,000 mark, but we'll get there. It's kind of a slow crawl to the top. But then what is it after that? 200,000. Sure, whatever. I don't know. I'll be happy with 100,000. It has been a blessing. 10 years on the air on YouTube, doing this show, and this has been a lot of fun connecting with other fans, other sci-fi, fantasy, fiction, entertainment fans. Geeks like me. This has been a lot of fun. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and on X. It's all the Monster Report. A lot of box days coming up. A lot of really cool figures to unbox. I've got plenty of trailers. I've already went through the entire Godzilla library, including -1, remaking all their trailers, and and done the entire Gamera, like I said, and even going into some certain other areas. If it is a monster of any kind, I'm trying to do a trailer for it, and that includes even monsters like Norman Bates. He was a monster, he's a psycho. Yeah, so even Batman, the Joker, is somewhat of a monster in his own way. Aliens are monsters, so yes, I have hit the James Cameron aliens. Even some point I'll probably take on the other James Cameron films like The Abyss and the Terminator films.
There you go, Nick. Got you a new subscriber tonight, brother.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate every subscriber. I really appreciate it. And again, 10 years on the air. And if it wasn't for that one big viral video I had way early, I may have given this up. But Legendary Pictures did retweet one of my videos a long time ago for the Godzilla 2014 Godzilla Alert. And so, it's been a lot of fun, and just going to continue doing what I'm already doing, and doing interviews, live streams on my channel. Like I said, the trailers, the box days, and film reviews. So, the Gargoyles open. That is a great open. I love the Gargoyles show.
Yes,
I may have to take you up on that. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, appreciate the suggestions too. I'm not above criticism.
And also, DJ and Remy, did y'all want to make an announcement about y'all channel that y'all have going on?
Sure.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what to say.
So Remy and I are doing an anime review, or tokusatsu kind of tokusatsu anime review channel. It's on YouTube under Dragon DJ, and on Rumble under Dragon DJ Reviews. We're in the process of reviewing Mobile Fighter G Gundam. It's the 30th anniversary of that series, and so we're going through it. This coming Friday, we'll be reviewing episodes 21 through 25, and then we're going to take a week or two off to review a few other things, just kind of break up the series a little bit before we get back into it to finish it up. So we just recently started the channel, so we're in very infant numbers.
Subscribe, damn it. Subscribe. We need subscribers.
But we're getting better, more efficient at the reviews and our conversations, and we're looking to just grow and have fun with it. So
good deal. Well, Nick, it was really, really good having you on. Let's see. Adrian did say, looking forward to see what you got.
Thank you, Adrian.
Thank you.
And he has the same Godzilla shirt. So,
nice.
Yes, good deal. Good deal.
There you go.
And Trey said he just subbed to you guys also.
Nice.
But Nick, We're glad to have you on, man. It's always fun when you're on. Thank you for joining us. So we have our man Nick from the Monster Report. I am Donald.
I'm Remy.
DJ.
Serge.
Appreciate it, guys.
You're welcome, man. We are the Sci-Fi Nerds. You guys have a blessed night and peace.
Peace.
These are the eyes of a psychopath.
No, what happened?
What the hell? Is that it, Nick?
That's me.
These are the eyes of a psychopath.